What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Health is Wealth podcast. This episode is all about the roots of personal training. What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Jason Shively, and today I got a special guest with me, Chris Bach. We're going to talk about the roots of personal training, why we became trainers, and it's been about damn time that Chris joins us here because this guy is the original South Florida guy. He's from Florida, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Traveled all over.
And you and your twin brother are some of the
brother.
first people outside of Jesus, which has already been on the show,
Yep.
that I first met when I first moved to Florida. So I used to go to church with you and your twin brother, and we used to crank out some awesome workouts. And really, if it wasn't for you guys, I probably wouldn't have stayed in Florida. Yeah. It's we're gonna go. Yeah, I know. It should be. I mean, most people that are listening to this and are not watching this stuff, Chris is the ninja behind most swords. He's one of those trainers that trains early in the morning. Has been doing it for a very long time, out of his own passions for self-defense and hand-to-hand combat. And but unless you were referred to him, no one knows about him. And that's a disappointment because he's legendary down here in Florida. when it becomes a personal training, you're legendary down here. Everyone goes to you.
Behind the scenes.
That's right. So you're from South Florida.
Yeah.
Born and raised. You and your twin brother Jason.
Yes.
And stuff cranking away.
Yes.
You guys had a young athletic career.
We
just
did.
Getting through stuff, and your brother was into. He was an Olympic teenage what?
Speed skater.
Speed skater. That's what it was.
We were, I was really blessed with a great grandmother, of love, strong, and my mother, who raised us. And it's tough in this world to raise two twins. My grandmother had, my grandfather after they met in Pearl Harbor, after 3 days they got married. They had 10. they were busy. That's when you made things last. My grandmother was in the Navy. My grandfather, he was a pilot. He was shot down 3 times. He was at sea for 7 days. He lost all of his crewmates. And a friend encouraged my grandfather to write my grandmother because they came from the same town. So he started to write her for about a year. She was dating somebody, and she fell in love with his writings. And when he got out, he just went to go visit her, and she was at work, taking care of the soldiers.
Yeah.
And 3 days later, they were.
3 days later, after
3 days,
letters,
they were married.
Now they met in Pearl Harbor through the military, Navy, and stuff. But where are they originally from?
My grandfather, they're from Boston, Framingham and Woburn. A lot of the families up there. A lot of my family's spread out everywhere. Our sets of twins in our family, we've had four generations. It runs every other generation.
Cow.
To have a twin brother, how can I explain this? You are one. You definitely know when there's something wrong. You could feel the vibrations. People look for their soulmate. You already have it. You're very protective of that person. When we grew up, we were competitive. We've always been competitive. We have always pushed each other, since we're kids to be better. If we played football, I played quarterback, you played running back, baseball, pitcher, catcher, speed skating, all the sports we love. We fell in love with it. We found our passion. We found more behind the scenes why we did what we did growing up in life, and we gravitated toward the fitness industry, but yet just to be better, just to train and push.
Well, a lot of us start with that. It's we only wanted to improve ourselves, and then we realized that it took me a long time, even after becoming a trainer and getting out of the accounting career, that I was already helping the people that I wanted to help. Because you think, I want to be a coach, baseball coach, football coach, and then like you for your brother, it's like, maybe I'll coach the Olympic athletes one day and stuff. And then you actually realize that you're already coaching and making an impact in people's lives already.
Yeah.
And, I think it's maturity and stuff. But you're on the show because it's so hard to get Chris down because he's up at 2 a.m. doing his own workouts and stuff. But we're gonna break down kind of your passion because it's easy to talk to. Anyone that knows you, you're super easy to talk to. But the roots of why we are trainers and stuff. But let's break down why you get up at 2 a.m. and do your own thing before you even start training people at 4 o'clock.
It's going to sound really crazy to you. When
crazy.
Somebody says 2 o'clock in the morning, they're like, he's out of his mind, which
a little bit.
A lot of it, I own that. I'm out of my mind.
A little bit.
But great sense of humor. All right, so how it started is, I was living in Michigan, and I was running gyms up there, and I had a cousin that came and one day came up to Michigan, surprised me. I was missing my family at the time, and he was at the door, and I was walking by, and I was feeling like one of them missing your family moments, and I look out the door, and he was standing there, and it was a surprise. So ended up he came in, and it was just really just warmed my heart, and he told me it's time to come home, and I didn't know why.
Is your cousin?
This is my cousin.
Okay.
So he told me it's just time to come home, when family comes to get you. At the time, we started in Ohio, Fitness for All. Keith did really good. He kind of raised and shaped me from, young. I've been a stubborn young lad growing up. And we started, started with one, and we progressed into 8 gyms. And we had, MMA, we had boxing, we had CrossFit, we had Extreme. So it was like vice versa. There's one place you could go to and just lay your heart out there and pick what you love to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so the story was as soon as he came and told me it was time to come home, I knew my journey was done up there. And it was hard for me to leave. It was hard for me to leave because I like Michigan. I like the old, the family moral.
Yeah,
I love the
Midwestern.
country. It slowed me down a lot. Like the country and the runs and the nature was just like, it fed my soul. And it was a couple days later, kind of prayed about it. It was just time for me to go. And I addressed it with Keith. I sat him down and I told Keith, I was like, Keith, it's time for me to leave. I have family issues, something going on. I couldn't explain what it was. God was talking. God was tugging at my heart, and it was hard for me to say goodbye. And Keith, he was hurt, more frustrated. He wanted me to stay up there, but my journey just was done. So I ended up driving 22 hours all the way back, it just that I was excited to see my family, as I was excited to see my friends. When I crossed over into Georgia, into Florida, the border, there was some smell. It was like that salt, pushing off, and I smelled that salt from the intercoastal ocean from a couple miles, and it's good to be home. And I was counting, it was a long ride, and all I wanted to do was just kind of walk through my door. And my grandmother, what happened was we found out she had dementia, which isn't too bad, and she would wait for me by the door for about 6 months, when I was going to come home. And came home, and it was so good to see my family. It was good to be back. And I ended up finding out my cousin was having his first child. She was pregnant, Chris and Joanna. And I got blessed at church. I found that blessing out. Then, with my grandmother, I didn't know too much about the dementia. So ended up, I just started taking care of her. I started rebuilding the business, going to work early in the morning. And she fell a couple times before I got home, and she had fractured, her hip, and the rehab tried to take care of her, and she ended up with bed sores, and they had to cut a huge scars out in her skin with the bed sores. And so I ended up, I didn't want to put her in any home. I just wanted to take care of her. And that's when the journey just started.
Yeah, that's when I met you.
Yeah,
that's when I met you about nine years ago now. It's but I knew when I first met you, you told me that you were running the 8 gyms with a buddy up north, and that was where we connected because you knew something about Ohio, and that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
So and then I knew that you came back for family health issues, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that you didn't actually know what was going on. It was just your cousin coming up saying, "Hey, we need you back here." I
never doubted, like, when he just told me to come home. It was just like, when it's time.
Yeah. Time. Yeah. I mean, and I think a lot of people can relate to that because we do a lot of things because of our family.
Yeah.
And whether that holds us back, when we're young, we think it holds us back, but actually it improves us, and it since we're talking about the roots of personal training, those roots of our family really hold us together, and that makes us choose the things that we do in life.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, and I know that's hard for you to talk about too, was your grandma, but I mean that was a daily love that you gave your grandma.
She,
for a long time.
Yeah, she changed my life. She changed my brother's life. She had 10 kids, like I said. She adopted 2 Down syndrome and raised them to 33. She raised 16 kids. And
16 kids.
16 kids.
Wait. So you had 10 aunts and uncles besides your mom.
Yeah.
This
is all on my grandfather and my grandma's side.
Yeah. And then she adopted 2 Down syndrome. And then I have a nephew that has Down syndrome.
Yes.
And he's 13 now. So, but he's got a hard parts of Down. So he's at a 6-year-old to 8-year-old level right now.
Yeah.
So it's tough. But the good thing is my sister is an animal lover, and that is one of the best things a Down syndrome person that
Animals.
human the animal contact is amazing. How much improvement they can go through. So where's the other? So then it's you and your brother. So where's the another pair of twins that they were taking care of? Or
yeah,
what?
there's
16 from your grandparents taking care of.
She raised. My grandfather passed away when I was 10 years old, and he was like a Gran Torino, Clint Eastwood. He was he was a. Hey, they looked at you.
See that too.
They looked at you. You got that warning, and the next one you knew you're getting. Boom, and you knew it. You knew it. So everything was all cleared, but my mother, she, like I said, she raised us. She was strong without a dad, and she was like, she always told us, my mom's always been straight up. She's like, Chris, at 9 years old, as long as you come, tell me the truth, be open with me, and, we'll get through it. And, that's instilled into me. So I know what women are capable of. Yeah, but my grandmother, if she's seen a kid who needed to be fed or dinner, our house was always an open house. No matter what skin you had, didn't matter what religion you had. Our house was an open house of just, hey, listen, we got food on the table. We may not had them more than anybody else, but we had food on the table, and we had hot showers, and we had love. We had love and strength at home. So my grandmother just I think, I don't think, I know, and she taught me a time of opening that heart, and so that's
that's the big roots. You have a lot of women that that woman strength that's really grounded you in your family.
I know what women are capable of. My mom used to build roofs, when we were growing up. We didn't get super games. We learned how to be builders since we were 12 years old, 13 years old. My mom would get on the roof with my aunts. And my mom, they had a roofing company in my family. A lot of egos in our family. Hello. So we learned how to be builders. My mom would be out there measuring out, putting plywood, putting everything together. And you know what? It just taught us, work hard, really work hard, and what women are capable of. I know I was loved by one. We were strengthened by one. We were disciplined by him. So it's I don't ever underestimate them. They raised some good kids.
So that is definitely everyone, and thank you for sharing that because I think that shows the foundation of how you are as a trainer. And everyone probably most people who listen to this don't know who Chris Bach is. Now they do and stuff. But that's not the trainer that I know, because that all transitions into you as an awesome motivator with your people that I see you one-on-one with early in the morning, because there's not a lot of people, so it's hard to miss Chris in the gym because there's only like 5 of us in the gym at that same time. So it's not hard to miss, but you got everyone cranking and running. And so with the strength of all the women in your life, and just being grounded with a great family, and then always there for your grandmother over the past few years, being there for her in her last few days. Where is that the roots of it? The competition from growing up with all the sports, and then having that strength from all those women. Is that the foundation of you as a trainer? Are you there at that support system?
You know what, is when we were kids, not saying we didn't have like our struggles, like growing up, we've seen a lot, me and my twin brother, and we were loved, but you know what, we put some reason, what we really believed in our hearts and our spirit is when we gravitate toward any kind of sports, like something you love to do, we put all of our frustrations. It didn't matter what was going on in your life. At the time, we just put our heads down and we want to strive into sports, and that's where we put our frustrations in. The end work is that's where the ethic came from. It's like you work hard and there's no shortcuts. You'll get to where you want to be. Like, you just have to put your heart in it. There's things that, and trust me, in this kind of business, it's tough because somebody, we're just not trainers. We sell our energy day in and day out. Our energy is being sold. That's what we do. And I want people to know is like, when I was taking care of my grandmother, I didn't really have the answers. I was doing the best I can, taking care of her. And then when the sundown syndrome hit, she got really lost and nasty at night, and you would take that to heart. I would cook her food, and she wouldn't like it. I'm like, you always like this. So I would go back into the kitchen and cook another meal, and she didn't like it. And I was like wondering why, till somebody really explained to me how the dementia works, And what happened is like, as we got closer to the days, I would sleep in her room. I would sleep about 3 hours a night in the chair. When she would wake up in the middle of the night, like, she would be scared, and I would put her back to sleep. I would run my hands through her hair. And what happened was I never knew what was going to happen day in, day out. I look back on it now, and they were scary times, because like when somebody's really dependent on you, and everybody's dependent, like you guys, everybody has a family member out there. They have somebody they really love. You're responsible. It made me responsible. So I would learn how to sleep 3 hours in the chair right by her bed. And I would wake up at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and it was the only chance I could get outside and underneath the moon and the stars. And I would go for I would say a 5-mile run, 4-mile run. And what that would do at that time, that would be my meditation time with the Lord. Like, I would try to get my mind right, because I didn't know what was going to happen that day. I was just trying to prepare for my day. Whatever's going to happen, the world is still sleeping. I need to be up, and I need to be right with my mind and my spirit. Somebody's depending on me. So that's where that 2-3 o'clock hour came from of training, because I found a peace at 3 or 4. The world's still sleeping.
Yeah, and I've been blessed, and most of my family have had their health for most of my life and stuff. And one of the reasons I switched careers was I saw some of my family members' health disappearing for multiple reasons, heart issues and everything else, and just hardworking people. We come from hardworking people, and we want to be there for them. And one of my motivations is to keep my health and my independence physically, so I can continue to help those when I can. It's just because if we physically and mentally aren't there, we can't help anyone else that we really want to. And for you to actually get up and realize that after just a few hours of sleep, and just, okay, I need my mental release, which on the other side of it was physical release too, which we both try to teach the foundation. And one thing that you just hit on that a lot we haven't talked about on the show is that how much energy it takes throughout a day of training people, because you're going through that at home, and you can't show that. You have to turn that into a positive thing, because because everyone's gone through some stuff, but there's certain careers where you can't show the rough times that you're going through, and personal training is one of those things where you have to be the positive person in everyone today.
Yeah.
And some it can be hard. And so, I'm sure you have your I'm sure you have your clients that you can vent to because you've been training them for 10, 15, 20 years. Just a little nuggets,
just
and stuff.
they
know when
they
they
can
don't
see
even,
them. They could read.
Yeah, they can
I'm easy
read
to read. I'm not a liar. I'm like good liar.
No, if Chris isn't laughing in the spirit of the day in your day, you know he's having an off day, and it's probably just because he didn't get his 2:00 morning workout in.
I need more sleep.
Yeah, the 4 hours wasn't enough for him.
Yeah, when I met Jay, this was years ago. He walked through the door, and it was before, like when I hear Ohio, Jason comes up. That's the first thing when Ohio pulls. It's Jason.
Yeah.
If he's humbly enough not to, he's very humble, but he's a beast when it comes to training and focus. It's like when we all met, it's like we all just, there's an energy, and it's like iron sharpens iron, right? It's like blacksmith. It's like we all just like gravitate toward each other. He has a great outlook and a great push and no nonsense, so like that was a blessing, we just, all of us. And a lot of clients, what we do is like we sell our energy all day long. It's everything but just looking good. It's, whatever they're going through. And I try and grab it toward, and I ask somebody, and this is like, is it addiction? Is it divorce? Is it kids? Is it stress? Whatever season they're going through, like the first thing I want to know, I was like, tell me about your life. What's going on right now? And it, like, once I key in what season of life they're in, I was like, what happens is I key in 6 weeks, we want to like stir that fire back in their spirit and their soul. And in the gym is it's just not a gym, it's a ministry to us. Like, we're here to change people's lives. Like, there's a lot of trainers, but I gotta tell you, I could count off my fingers people who are life changers, Jay, and you're one of them.
Well, thank you.
And there's a lot of trainers. There's trainers what stick out. I could name off the tons of them, who are really the best at what they do, so we don't take for granted. Like I said, it's like, it's our church. It's like, you're not going to come to a church, we found God in riding our bikes on the beach, in our training, doing triathlons. Yeah. So we're in the grain, man. We're out there in the field.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think there's a lot of people better trainers when it comes to technique sometimes, and can just verbalize or show someone a movement. But I take a lot of pride in making sure that person can show up another day and another day. And it's just like you said, it's just like, how are you today? Let's see how you are. Yeah. And you learn that over a period of time. And when people say, can I get results? It's really, how fast can you figure out if you can get results? And it's not about the perfect lunge at the beginning. We can build that. We can build a foundation of exercise through a thing. But getting you to show up is a big mentality for me. Is there. And sometimes the workouts don't have to be the hardest workouts to get the most out of that person.
Yep.
And stuff. I've had people with anxiety and health issues and family issues and stuff, and they don't have to share that. I just know there's something going on, and I've been lucky enough where a lot of people tend to show and share that stuff with me. But it's getting that out of them during the workout. Sometimes you plan on, and we can break this down real simple. Some days you might have a leg day planned, and on the spot, as a trainer, you have to flip it and make it more of a cardio day, because they just need energy.
Yes.
So you can they need endorphins. They need endorphins because of what they just told you. Like, so automatically you went from, okay, it's a squat day, to, no, we're just going to do some aerobics and we're going to hit the mitts and stuff, just so I can see energy out of you today.
Yes. You have to, I have a plan in my head, what we're going to organize and what we're going to execute. But I take a step back right before I'm about to train somebody, and I see what kind of mood and the energy, where they're at. And there's fabrications to that workout. It could be power legs and say, hey, listen, today we need to work your hands. What I love about mitt work and boxing and hand-to-hand combat is whatever is on that person's mind, they have to focus in a tunnel vision. So it's almost like taking them for a ride, and really teaching them about life. Like whatever they're stressed through, we get a 1, 2, 3, and I throw a right hand back at them, and they learn how to slip out, keep their eyes on that target. So it's like mentally, you're kind of, as a trainer, you're fabricating people's workouts tailored to what they need that day.
No, yep. Absolutely. And that's what, see, and that's the things, because you like to say that you specialize in self-defense and hand-to-hand combat type of training. You add that into the programs.
Yeah.
You can teach anyone squats and pull-ups and bench press, and I've seen you add it with everyone else, but you add those little things in so well. And I know a lot of fighters that know how to train themselves very well, but it's hard for them to relay that into teaching that just on basics and not taking it too serious. Too many fighters take it too serious because that's what they want to do for a living, and it's great.
Yeah.
But when you're training someone that doesn't want to be a fighter, but you're trying to use those techniques, you have to know when to pull back and push forward. And stuff. And you do a really good job.
Yeah, well, that's why they call it self-defense, and why I got into it. I've learned with my own personal training when I was younger, I had a little bit of the ego. Like I want to be good and I want to walk with giants. And, as we start like getting more depth within the training, I really found out something totally different. It was more the self-defense is how not to use it. Because what happens is like, as you have more responsibilities with your hands mentally, you have such a good discipline. You don't want to raise them. You don't want that, hey, I'm being aggressive, I'm going to be a fighter, and I understand a lot of guys are out there, but you know what, at these times, the way the world is changing, if I have a family, a daughter or baby, or I have nieces, I want to be able to protect them and keep them safe. And for me, I never raise my hands or teach any of the clients to be aggressive. I want them to back off and back away from the situation, because we could always walk away from a situation. If we can't, then you learn how to defend yourself, and it's good mental training, but it's just good as just a normal person, like just a day in and day out,
And that what I realize is, and because of combat programming and martial arts getting so popular nowadays, and everyone wanting to have some kind of skill set with that, is most people that are really good at self-defense, hand-to-hand combat, martial arts of any sorts, they're super nice people. They're not the aggressive people that you think they are. Most of the aggressive people that you run across over your life and stuff don't put that kind of energy and effort into learning those skills. And I've always found that, especially over the past recent years, of how that's funny, because you can see someone in the gym, on the mat, in the ring, just like, I'm not stepping in there. And then you meet them and you're like, oh, you're the friendliest, you're the most humble and friendliest person in the world.
Yes.
And that's you all day. That's Chris Buck all day.
I have my moments.
Yeah. If you ever seen Chris Buck mad, he's not mad.
No, I try not to. Once in a while I have my moments, like, that's what the runs are for. That's what the training's for is. But Jay, is like, everybody has like a good specialty to them. Like, you're a good motivator. A lot of trainers have, like, I always say, whatever that person, I always like trained. If I found somebody who was the best at what they do, like, I gravitate toward them and I want to learn. Let's just say if they teach me 5 things, I'm going to walk away with 3 things is going to better my life. This guy over here ended up, was it about 3 weeks ago, he decided to put me, it's been a long day, energy spent out, decided to put me under a workout bench and do 100 reps on the bench. And
just because.
It's been just because.
He wanted to come over and give me a high five all day.
High five, and he put me under the bench.
Don't slow down my workout. I'm on a busy guy too.
He gave me a push. This guy will not have any excuses, and he will not back down, which was great. And it was really cool because sometimes somebody has to heart check you, and he definitely heart checked me that day. And it was such a blessing to have that.
Yeah, and there's a reason why I avoid working the mitts with you, because I don't want to have any shoulders left after that day.
No, we all have great things. That's the one thing, Jay. It's like each person is like, what it's easy to point out all the wrong things, right? Somebody taught me a long time ago, it's harder to look for the great things.
That goes to the roots of why we're personal trainers. That's a really good point, because I always try to find something that the person I'm working with is really good at, and let's ride that and then expand it.
Yes.
Expand it,
Yes.
not go backwards. Let's not find the bad
Yes.
things. Like a lot of people come with bad knees, bad backs, a lot of weight on. It's that they want to get off. Well, let's not work on that stuff immediately. Let's try to find something, and I really do try to do this. Find something that they're good at, and then just maybe for a couple workouts, or it might be a couple weeks of let's use that to our advantage and keep you coming back.
Yeah.
Because once it becomes a habit,
Yeah.
man, really, that's when the results
Love it.
and the magic really starts to happen.
Yeah.
And stuff. And so, what are a couple of things that you really focus on when you first meet someone, of the roots of their beginning stages? What is it? Is it, and you touched on it's more about what they're going through in their life, but that takes a couple of sessions to kind of learn the personality. A lot of people don't want to just share something to a personal trainer.
I try and to be approachable. Is like, I just want to know why they're here.
Yeah.
Everybody would be shocked, is like if you would just think, hey, I just want to get buff. I'm not looking for that. I want to know the root of why you walk through my door, what's going on in your life, and how I can make it better with the training and bring the passion in your life. Once we key on to that, like we figure out what season you're in, then we go from there. It's amazing if you really open yourself up to a different kind of training and do something you love. I mean, that's the main thing. A lot of people, I think, get turned off because they're like, hey, I have to go, and then we have our days where it's like we have to do stuff we don't want to do. We have to push through. But, another hand is find something you really love. If it's bicycling, if it's boxing, I like, Rachel, she got me back into extreme mountain biking. She's kicking my butt on the bike. She's challenging me. And it's really cool because everywhere we go, like I've been blading, paddleboarding, kayaking. So
But you're in that season right now.
Yes.
Like the season that you were in, and I used this before, and I love that you use that and stuff. And let's scoot you in here. We're going to scoot you in.
I'm
going to get yelled
COVID.
I'm going to get yelled at by Bobby because our shoulders are outside the video. But the seasons is a big deal because when the COVID started, I told people you might have to change the season. Now, when you and me first met, you were in a lifting season in your life. Lifting was a good thing. You had a lot of people around you that you wanted to keep that going. Your brother was big into the leg workouts at the time, which I think he's never stopped working out with legs. He does them every day.
Absolutely not.
The guy's a
both
machine
of you
with
guys.
legs.
Both of you guys.
Yeah, maybe not me so much, but at that time, I was big into the circuit training, the but all weight training.
Shoulders. You were like.
Stuff. It's easy. That was the one thing I got from my dad. So the shoulders. I didn't get his height, but I got his shoulders and stuff. So it's just, those are easy for me. That's easy for me. So that's why I put people like yourself and your brother around me, and Bobby and Jesus and everyone else that we know, is because I get some of what they're good at.
Yeah. Yes.
I get some of what they're good at. And when people are in that rut, it's find that season. What season are you in? Do you feel like to be outside? Then let's be outside. Let's do that. If it's okay, I'm tired of doing all the walks to the beach and back, because that's what we get to do here in South Florida, is get to those beaches and walk. If you're tired of that, then let's get you back inside and find something inside and stuff. And I think if people more really think about that when they go into their health and what they're enjoying at the moment is, okay, what do I like to do right now? Then that's what you need to work on.
That's the big key with me, and like all of us. Like, it's just people think the same regimen over and over and over, you're only going to get so many results. But it's like what you said, Jay, that's the main key, is like, what season am I in? Like, what feels like I could achieve it? Because there's always something I could be better at. If it's, I spent time with the strength training we did into boxing, okay, I still keep my skills up to par. But on the other hand, it's like you said, it's like out riding the bikes, it's out, rollerblading, whatever that thing is. Peloton, people are huge on Peloton, especially with the corona, the whole
social distancing and everything.
We've been through a lot already in the industry we're in. We were at a mass at one time, so we're inventory, we're really going, and the world has completely shut down and went opposite.
Yep.
Now, safety always first, but you have to remember is when you're taking fitness walks and runs and people's reaction away from people, that's a pretty tough one because there's no release. But the blessing I did see through a shutdown is I did see more families together. I did see
Yeah.
more people outside walking. A lot of people weren't working. They're taking the time, and it was hard. It was hard to adjust to
But
being.
they changed that season. It might have been a season they needed too. So as a trainer, those are the roots that we try to look for. Is like, oh, you're spending more. I mean, you've got some of these high end clientele that are constantly traveling through their work. They couldn't travel at the moment.
Yeah.
Now they're actually building their relationships up. That's a season in their life where they're building those relationships back up with their kids, their wife, their loved ones. That they weren't able to do. And it's happened the opposite as well. I know people that, including myself, that can't travel to the Midwest and see family because of my family's health issues as well as the social distancing. You don't want to spread anything around. So now people are farther distance too. So there's two different seasons that are happening. So you have to find what your clients are going through and ride the positivity.
Yeah.
And stuff. No one wants to stay in a negative mind. So that's as trainers, it's important. And like I said, I wish more people would meet Chris Bach, but most people aren't going to wake up at 2 to do that. But that's what you do. You always find the positive out of people.
Yeah.
I mean, every day there's a positive thing, and I think we should dig into a little bit of the workouts in the morning a little bit more. Why that's so important for you and why people that tend to work out in the morning tend to have better days.
Oh, it's harder. It's hard to get people up that early. It's a big adjustment. Like if you're taking somebody's sleep away, it's very tough. I gotta give people credit. Like if they just walk through my door, if it's 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, my hats are off. Whatever workout or whatever you have. From there, you just beat the hard part. You got out of bed.
Yep.
It's
snooze. You skip the snooze button.
You skip this. It's hard to get out of bed, but you know what it is? It's like if you get up that early in the morning and you get to something you do love, man, your day's already started. Like you're already up. You beat the world up, and
right.
Well, you get your day started. You feel, it's not good when you walk through the door, but when you leave, you feel free. You just beat yourself. You put a good something so hard in your workout and you put a positive in it. So when you leave, you're going back to your family, you're taking a shower, you're going to work, you're ready to attack your day, whatever problems or issues you have, you're already focused on it.
Yeah.
So I encourage, a lot of people right now with everything the shutdown and just getting back started, I encourage you guys this week, just to take the weekend and just think of what you're going through. And how you could change it is just beginning up twice, it could be a Monday and it could be Thursday, twice a week, just to get it started and make that effort. And if you make that effort, I guarantee you're going to feel better about your day.
Yeah, I think those morning habits are big. I mean, and I grew up with a mom that used to read in the morning. So, and a grandma that went out in the morning to clip the roses and stuff in Indiana. So it doesn't have to be working out. And that might be a challenge for you at the beginning to actually go physically work out in the mornings at the beginning, but work on yourself. Meditation's a big thing right now, especially. So taking some deep breaths, giving yourself that 10 to 30 minutes just to think about what you need in your life. And then you can flip that and give it to everyone else in the rest of your day.
Yeah, I talked to my cousin, I've been trying to encourage him. I got him in really good shape before his wedding. And he has a business and, electrical company. He drives all over. He has a lot of employees. He has a lot of responsibility. He's like, Chris, I just can't find time. And I'm like, Chris, all you need to do is just get up one morning and go for a walk. Go around the block, go around 2 blocks the next time. Just make that first step of just getting up, even if it's twice a week, if it's 15 minutes, you made the effort. So I encourage you to do that. It will definitely change your life. It will change your outlook. Call Jason; he'll motivate you.
Call me, and then I'll get him. But
we're a team here. So
talking about the motivation, how is it you're the first one on the show that really makes a living with the self-defense, the hand-to-hand combat. But most of the people before coming in contact with you never had that background or experience and stuff. What is it that you're telling people? That is it more of a just have yourself protected, being aware, or are you just using it for a cardio thing for a lot of people?
Well, I think it connects both. It really connects the mind with the body. You have to really think a punch is not a punch if you really explain it right. It has everything to do with the hips. It has everything to do with your target, and you don't want to overpower your shots. So the thing is like when I teach people, I want them to just relax under pressure, because everybody wants to tense up and just explode over things. It's everything of not to do. It's actually learning how to stay light with your mind and letting your punch and your hips do the work. But that's the main thing. Everybody they think self-defense is an aggressive thing. It's not an aggressive thing. It's actually opposite. You have to be loosened up to throw a good roundhouse kick, push kicks. You want to be able to push off your feet. You want to be able to see things coming. But if you're too intense and you're too riled up, your adrenaline's already pumping. You want to be able to be relaxed and under pressure. That's what I found. I try and teach my clients with self-defense is learning how to relax under pressure. A punch in the hips and the roundhouse kicks, they're not about beating the crap out of something. You want to be able to throw it just like a drum. Like if you pound a drum, it's going to come out loud, but you want to be able to pop a sound. It's like a catcher's mitt. It's like a pitcher throwing from the mound and having that ball hit that leather glove. It's just like you could hear the speed and the impact when you're relaxed and you let your whole body just be natural.
Yeah.
The moment it's not natural and you tense up, you take all that power away. So it's like I said, you just want to be relaxed with your mind, and you want to be able to actually handle good under pressure.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, just like if you were on the drums, right?
Just like the drums. It's just a sound. It's a rhythm. It's when I'm in there and I'm doing mitt work with people, I'm downloading their footwork. I'm learning the way they need to breathe out instead of having them breathe in on a punch. How are they going to take away, their punches? Everything has to do with breathing. It has to do with footwork. It has to do with leverage. So there's a lot behind, self-defense. I try and teach all my clients, everybody I train, is they're constantly downloading people's even body language. It's like, it's like I always say fighting and self-defense is like dancing. You want to be able to be relaxed, enjoy, but yet have your footwork underneath you and pivots.
Now you're normally in the middle of the gym showcasing your clients. You guys are working out there. Everyone's comfortable with that you work with. Yeah. But at the beginning, when you got someone new, are they usually coming to you referred because of your skills with self-defense and the mitt work, or what about when you got someone that just wanting the results, fitness results, but then you introduce that? How does that go into everything?
Well, when somebody tells me what they want to do, I cater to, okay, they want to do some strength training, they want to change their body this way, but how can I add, it's like being a mechanic, how can I add a piece of that mitt work and get them functional, and add into their program and to make them nice and loose, limber, and keep transitioning forward.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's big right now. People want to be versus like the 90s. Everyone wanted to be big and strong. Women didn't want that at all, so they just kept doing curves, programs, and stuff. It was too intimidating. Then CrossFit came on board in the early 2000s, and women weren't intimidated by big gyms anymore and weight training and stuff. And now that self-defense model and maybe martial arts on TV and in the social world has helped, where women are stronger than men, and most times they have that pain talk that they have the ability to go to another level.
I mean, women are just so I have a lot of female clients.
Yeah,
and I love them. I love them. They push. They don't complain. I'm not saying men don't complain. we all do. I do.
Yeah, no, but throughout all the classes over the years that we've taught and individuals, men are the harder ones to get actually to sign up for training because they think they can. Their ego gets in the way, and they think they can do it on their own. When all we're really doing is trying to help. So, women are willing to accept information that they don't already know and learn. And change and improve their skill set and body. And I don't know what especially when it comes to fitness, men just think they can do it on their own. Their ego gets in the way too much, and it prevents a lot of them from getting good results.
Well, you know what you know what I learned this is my brother worked at Gold's Gym off of Pine Island at 44th, and it was a bodybuilding gym. It was a big intimidating gym, and I would go out there see my brother, and there was a guy who had a dojo there, and I didn't know he was so humble. His name is Roger Crawl. He's a part of American Top Team, and I didn't know much about Roger, but my brother's sales rep, he's so, I noticed like he would be so disrespectful to Roger's clients. Like he would come in, he's like, if your sensei's so good, how come he has a broken arm or a broken leg, or he's always injured? And Roger, over the years, if you know Roger, that man is a real deal. Like this guy is a straight up, he changed my life. So what happened was I walked in and Roger came in so humble that day. And I remember just walking in behind him, and I used to look through the windows. I'm like, look at these guys. They're being the crap out of each other. It's an intimidating place. So when Roger came in, he came in so humble. He's like, hey, listen. He's like, Beasley was his name. He goes, please, I want, I teach my clients about respect and honor. I hear what you're saying, and please just out of respect, please have, a little bit of courtesy. And then Roger walked out, and I heard that, and I'm like, wow, this guy is so humble. Like the way he approached him, this guy could rip him to pieces. So I ended up walking through Roger's door, and he was mopping the floors. That's how Roger does, we all mop our own floors. It shows the respect of your surface and what you do. I still mop my floors. I always work on my footwork. But I walked in there and I was like, at the time, I was like, Roger, I want to train. I really want to learn, this fighting. I want to be really good at it. He goes, and what he told me, he goes, Chris, you did the hard thing. I'm like, what's the hard thing? He goes, you just walked through my door. He goes, egos won't walk through the door. Be open to change now. Yeah, and that was like when he told me that, and it stuck with me all these years.
Just your shoulders relax. You're like, okay, I'm ready to learn.
I'm ready. You know what? I was just not. I'm hanging out. I'm doing nothing. I'm hanging out with just the wrong people, not going anywhere. And it wasn't had to do with anybody else. It had to do within myself. And that was the best investment I ever made, because when I walked through that door, it changed my whole entire life. I just stopped going out, hanging out with people. I just found something I really love and I want to be good at. Now, did I get my butt kicked? A lot, and people don't. A lot of the fighters, when you get in there, trust me, you get humbled really quick when you do jiu-jitsu, and you got about 5 more minutes and you're gassed out, and it humbles you down. So you learn how to, you learn how to push through. And like, I'll tell you what. When we're on the ground and we're rolling jiu-jitsu, somebody said, Chris, you have all the power in the world. You're wasting all your energy right now. You're just trying to be explosive and you're going to gas out. And he was right. Pastor Steve Williams at Calvary Chapel, he was really, really good. So Roger was the top of the line striking coach, and he still is to this day. Like he ended up like fine-tuning my footwork, my hands. And he, let me just tell you, that guy, I couldn't even say enough about him. He changed my life.
Yeah.
That was the foundation of what changed.
You said a lot of things that Bobby, the co-host of the show, he's a big jiu-jitsu guy. Yeah. And he's done competitions in the past and does it for himself now, and train fighters. So he does their strength and conditioning at the studio and stuff. But he's brought up in the show a lot of times of how, he'll get tossed by a 150-pound guy, and he's close to 200 pounds. But then there's a 240, 250-pound guy, and he's tossing him and stuff. So it really is about controlling that energy properly. And I think martial arts and self-defense and handing, the more you control yourself, the more you can control your opponent. And martial arts, we hear this in movies all the time from someone like me that doesn't really practice any of that stuff. We hear that all the time. And I just want to hit on the note where you as a man walked in and the coaches and trainers said you did the hard part, you showed up. And if we can, and that's the thing is most people nowadays, it's getting easier. I don't say right now it's so, but the ego is away. They just want the result faster. So the ego goes away. So you're getting more and more men coming into facilities and asking for services to actually learn a skill set, how they can do it safer and faster and quicker and stuff. So that helps. But women just ask. But when it comes to learning, especially in personal training, the roots of personal training, I mean, it's probably a 70-30% swing. 70% of my clients are women, and then 30% are men. And you said it's the ego that gets in the way.
If you could move that ego, that's where change starts.
Yeah.
With the ego, change won't start. You're going to stay in the same spot. Like, so a lot of the house moms out there is, we do a lot of training. We do a lot of weaponry like sticks, God forbid. They know how to do weapons and defend and guard. So if you're out there and you feel like, okay, discouraged and you want something for yourself, like let's just say the kids are in school, you want to learn a new trade, there's a lot of things you could do. But the self-defense, a lot of the ones I train is like they could definitely handle themselves against a couple of guys, but it's humbling yourself down, it's buckling in the training and just open for change.
Yeah. And so let's wrap this up with just basic lessons of people that most people who are listening to us have already trained with both of us or have been in a program before, and we appreciate everyone for following us and listening to us like that. But what are the roots? Let's get back to and put this all together of the roots of us as trainers.
Yeah.
Of what it is that why we really do what we do, and a lot of it comes from your family background and being there for people, and then you doing yourself. Yeah. So wrap that up for us, will you?
Well, yeah. I want you to look at it as a trainer, like we have our hearts into what we love to do. That's the one thing about Jason. The people we're surrounded with it, they love what they do. And if you love what you do, these guys day in, day out, they put up with a lot. We're good listeners. We have to listen. We're good motivators. But on the other hand, if you want that change, just walk through the door and just make the call.
Yeah, and a lot of it, and that was really what it is I love what I do. I mean, if all my bills were taken care of, I would still do this for free.
Do this for free.
I would be happy to do it for free. I never hesitate about telling people that either. I'm lucky. A lot of people haven't found what they really can wake up and do every day. I can do this every day and be happy in life. Luckily enough, I get paid to do it, even during these hard times.
Yeah.
And just like this show, all we're trying to do is add value to anyone that's listening, and find those seasons in their lives that they need to be in, and everything's based around that health. So we do this because we feel we need to motivate people. We need our own motivation. That's why we work out. That's why we work out so early in the morning, so we can give that back the rest of the day.
Yeah, we're constantly changing too. It's like as leaders and trainers, we have to be molded. We can't just say something to somebody, and we have to do it ourselves. There's no shortcuts. We have to put ourselves through underneath the fire for us to actually grow other people. So we have to. There's times where I look at Jay and I'm like, Friday I am tanked. I am out. My energy is gone. And he walks through the door and he's laughing because he had the same week, but he gives me that little bit more nudge. And we understand it's like a language. When you work hard and you love to do something, what you love to do, you're going to be worn out about it. But you know what? We're surrounded by awesome people. We're surrounded by strength. If you could pick one person up today and look him in the eyes and just say, "Hey, listen, man, let's go." Like Jason, he's like, he doesn't ask me, he just tells me, "Get under the bench." I'm like,
no, yeah.
There's no getting out of it. I'm like, all right, I'm getting under the bench. And I hear myself having excuse. I'm like, excuse. I'm gonna just get under the bench.
Yeah, just get under the bench. And you laugh about that with me, but you do such a good job yourself with your clients. Is nope, we're not allowed to have a bad day today. Today is not going to be a bad day. You did the hardest part, just like your coach told you, and that we tell everyone, and most of them that are listening have already been through this, is you made it through the door. That was the hardest part. Now it can't be worse. You showed up, you made it through the doors, and that's the roots of why we are trainers, is to motivate everyone, and that's why this show's still cranking right now, is to continue to add value to your lives. And hopefully this episode today inspired you. And Chris, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
What a blessing here.
And just look up Chris Bach on Instagram, and I'll put all the information down below this link as well. And he's on Facebook, everything, and he's in the Fort Lauderdale area.
It's our hometown.
Hometown.
So we represent our South, Fort Lauderdale. Woo!
And he's the roots of Florida. So if he wasn't in Florida, the guy his personality should be in California. He's got that surfer mentality and stuff like that. That's what we love about Chris. So he's one of the nicest people I know. So we love you, Chris. So appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for the opportunity.
Everyone. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
Awesome.